Good morning, everyone. Today is February the 29th, our extra day of the year. I hope you can make it work for you. We are happy to include today Josephine McHale, who is going to be speaking on workers' compensation at the end of Charles' presentation. But Charles is going to lead into it by showing you how to find the reports that you might need to do a workers' compensation audit. So with that, take it away, Charles. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Saundra. So yes, there are reports that you use for the audits. When you have an audit from the workers' comp provider, they will give you a list of things, tax returns, and how much everybody made during that time. We also have the ability to run workers' comp premium reports, and I'm going to show you a sample of that right here. And this is a sample of one, okay, where it will show you what the hours are, the exempt hours. That's something that the workers' comp provider is concerned with because they only want to have the hours that you worked, and they only want to calculate at the base rate of pay. So if they worked overtime hours, they will count those hours, but they will multiply it by the regular rate, not the overtime, to come up with what your premium's supposed to be. And so all that can be found in here in this sample of a workers' comp report, which we can provide. The caveat here on these reports is if you're going to use these workers' comp reports, you do need to provide us with the workers' comp codes and rates in the system. Or if you're using Dash, you would let us know about the codes and the rates so we can enter them on the company level, and then you would attach it to the employees under employee, and then under department position, and then right here under the workers' comp. Now, we also have the ability to make it where that is required to be in place before you can submit payroll. It comes up as an audit item when you're submitting payroll, and it will be showing you which employees need the workers' comp code. And we can also set up under the employee, add employee, we can adjust the wizard by clicking on modify new employee wizard. And we can actually go in here and we can select the workers' comp code. It's right here, where we can mark it as an option is available and even make it required when you're hiring a new employee. These are the steps that we can provide if we're going to be using that workers' comp report and setting up all that. But every time the rates change, we need to know. Otherwise, the premium report will not bring up the right information. If we're not tracking any of that information, what kind of reports will you need? Well, we would go to reporting, and the basic one to use is the labor distribution report. And I'm going to I just typed in title search because it has my most frequent searches here. And I hit search. Hit search again. And the one that I typically use is the HCR, but if I'm having to segregate 1099 employees from W-2 employees, I can use the labor distribution report, which I'm selecting on right here. And then I would put in the period for which the report is run by clicking on override dates. And I can put like say 07/01/2022, 07/01/2023. And yes.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
Charles, what's the distinction that you just said between the labor distribution and the HCR?
The HCR stands for hard-coded report. And what that means is it has fewer edit options. Now, I usually run that one if I'm just running it for the names of the employees because it makes no difference there. But the HCR or hard-coded report does not have the ability to separate the employees by tax form. And if you have, say, people who are 1099, right, then you can't separate them out. They're in the middle of the report, and it's harder to use when you're dealing with your workers' comp provider, because if you have the W-2s all together and then the 1099s separate from them, then it's easier to come up with the totals for your plan provider. It makes it easier for them.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So here I'm doing the labor distribution, and I put in my dates. And again, I'm using the custom begin date and custom end date, because there I can just type in the dates that I want and let the system figure out what check dates fallen in. And then I'm going to go through. I don't need a filter here, but I do want to change the sorting to a custom sort. And then I put in my group totals right here. I will go down and I will find tax form, And then I can sort by employee name over here. So this one, the difference is this one does not do a total, whereas the main sorts right here will do a total, and that's what I want. Because if it does a total, then I'll have a total for my W-2s and a total for my 1099s. I'm just going to scroll down all the way down to the bottom. And here's the nice trick, because if you need this and this report's run every year, you can click on Save Company Reports, and you can actually change the name of it, Labor Distribution for WC Audit. And you hit Save Settings, and it will save it under the Save Company Reports for later use. I'm going to show that to you in a second. I'm just going to scroll down here again and click on Run Report. Now, here's the thing. We're in our demonstration company. It's going to be empty. But what you're going to see is if you've seen the labor distribution reports for your company, it's going to show you all the employees, and it's going to sort it by those tax forms. So you're going to have your 1099s in one section of it and your W-2s in the other. Obviously, this one doesn't have anything because we don't have any payrolls to file. I mentioned that before. But you will see it as you go. But the next important thing is under Save Company Reports. And I look through, and we have several company reports in here. So I'm going to look through for the one that I had. And we have this crystal report. The way I know it's a crystal report is because it's not the hard-coded report, right? So a hard-coded report, that's the HCR. So a crystal report would be one of these. Obviously, I've done this before, set this up in demonstrations before, so we have several of them in here. But you would only have one because these are the ones that you save all those edits, and you would just click on it, and all those edits would be there, right? The period would be there, and you could just change the period. The changes that you made here, the custom sort, all that would be in there, and you would just change the dates and run the report. So it's nice to have that saved for you to use every year. And then when that report runs, you would see it there. Now, let me see here. How about the tax returns that they request? Because they request, this is the one that they call the payroll report, where you see everybody's wages, what their regular earnings are, their overtime, their vacation, all that kind of stuff. That's this report, the labor distribution report. But when you're looking for the tax returns, I'm going to bring this up. It's going to be under documents and then tax documents. Now, this is a sample from a client where I've marked out the confidential information, but you'll see it right here. The ones that I've circled, tax documents for the period ending. What they're going to ask for is usually either 4 or 5 periods, depending upon if their policy overlaps tax periods. So you're going to see, you're going to look for the ones ending, the end date is within that time period. So in here, this is sort of a sample of if it was from January to February of a given year. So you have 12/31, 9/30, 6/30, and 3/31. And usually what they're looking for is the 941, which is the federal return, and then the state returns, especially the state returns that shows the income of the employees. Those are the reports that they're looking for. So this is where you would find them under the tax documents. Each one of these files contains the tax returns for that tax period. It includes the states and it includes the federals. It's all in one file, makes it easier to find here rather than seeing 15 941s, 15 DE9Cs, and so forth. And so that's where you would find it.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We hope you found the information useful, and we are very, very pleased and thankful that you are part of our PayrollCentric family. Goodbye for now.